Hello, English 100. This is your short video on how to avoid plagiarism. The short version is that plagiarism is when you use somebody else's words or information or ideas without giving them credit. Definition of plagiarism. According to Purdue OWL, plagiarism is using someone else's ideas or words without giving them proper credit. Plagiarism can range from unintentional, forgetting to include a source in a bibliography, to intentional, buying a paper online, using another writer's ideas as your own to make your work sound smarter. The intentional kind is very serious. It's a kind of cheating. But some kinds of plagiarism are just little mistakes that you can fix. Examples of serious plagiarism. 1. Handing in an essay you found online as if you wrote it. 2. Paying someone to write your essay for you. 3. Copying and pasting a paragraph from an essay you found online into your essay. 4. Too much help. A person you know writes it for you or tells you what to say. These are all very serious. You get a 0 on the paper if you do one of these. But I don't worry too much about it because most people do write their own essays and most people don't cheat. So I'm not worried about these ones too much. But I do get plagiarism like this in student papers once in a while. For example, last semester, I had an example of number 4. A student had a big brother who's at UC Davis who didn't quite write the paper for her, but pretty close. And of course, all these are really easy for me to spot. So we're not going to worry about these too much because I assume you're not going to cheat. Most common forms of an unintentional plagiarism. So this is not cheating, but it's plagiarism. It's kind of mistakes. And so you have to learn to avoid these mistakes. Okay, there's 2 things. 1, using information or ideas without citing. Tell your reader where all the information is from. So to avoid number 1, you give a citation. So Westover 36 in parentheses. That's your citation. Example, plagiarized. Sean describes Sadie as having fish eyes. This suggests that Sean blah, 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 blah. So notice the information has no citation. So this is a minor form of plagiarism, but you have to remember to have a citation to say what page number it's from for every bit of information. So example, not plagiarized. Okay, so this is it fixed. Same thing. Sean describes Sadie as having fish eyes, Westover 107. So this one avoids plagiarism by giving the citation, the author's last name, and the page number in parentheses. Easy. Most common forms of unintentional plagiarism, number 2. Using an author's exact words without quotation marks. So here's an example. Example, plagiarized. At BYU, Tara's teacher said she had a knack for writing, but that her language was oddly formal and stilted. Westover 161. So the citation is correct. The problem is there's too much of the words, the exact words from the book. So you have to be careful whenever you find yourself copying from the book. If you're copying from the book, what you write better be inside quotation marks. Example, not plagiarized. Okay. According to Westover, quote, my teacher said I had a knack for writing, but that my language was oddly formal and stilted. Westover 161. So this time, the words from the book are not plagiarized because they're in quotation marks. So whenever you use language straight from the book, it's got to be in quotation marks with the citation. Note it, look at the quote for a sec, and then go back to the plagiarized version. Notice that in the plagiarized version, a few little words were changed. Like it says, Tara's teacher instead of my teacher. It says, she had a knack for writing instead of I had a knack for writing. Changing a couple words here and there is not good enough. So that first version is still plagiarized even though you changed a couple words here and there. If you follow the overall structure of the sentence and you only change a couple words, it's still plagiarism even though you changed it a little. So when you paraphrase it, you really have to use your own words completely. So for an example like this case of plagiarism, either you give a quote, which is the fixed version I show here, or you do a real paraphrase where you change all the words. You don't kind of keep it and just change a couple words. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Again, to avoid plagiarism, most of what you have to do is, 1, always give a citation, and number 2, don't use the exact words from the book without quotation marks. Thanks, that's it.